Perfect. Good morning, Sunday, April the 23rd. I have two very distinct and different topics that I want to share. And so let's start with, actually, we'll start with the tactical first. I'm going to share my screen. I've had some random thoughts lately. So let me see if I can find this. Okay. So one of the broader challenges, of course, and is to quote unquote build our list, right? To get our name out there, to support other entrepreneurs, share our passion, our mission, our vision. And we're always, I think, searching and seeking ways to do that. And there's tons of talk, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, about all the different ways. So if you are, a coach, you can do one-to-one coaching, you can do group coaching. If you are a consultant of any kind, and of course, depending on your industry, you could do workbooks, courses, pardon me. So creating courses, things like that. People are talking about membership programs. And the newest trend is creating micro memberships. So the benefit that I see, like from a third party looking into a micro membership, is that with a full-on membership, one of the challenges for people is to think about how to support the membership group in a way that feels like a great exchange of value for money. Now, there's a whole bunch of mindset that's set up and conditioning and programming within each one of these offerings. And so I want you to, as I'm chatting with you, kind of make note of where you have some resistance versus non-resonance. So just kind of make note as I'm talking. So one of the challenges I see in a membership, a full-on membership, is how can I support the member in a capacity that would prove valuable to them? The mindset that can happen around this is, do I have enough content that is valuable enough? Which is code for, do I have enough? Which could be code for, am I enough? A micro membership is interesting because it requires much less content, a lesser investment in the membership, and there could be resistance or non-resonance in why would I create content for so little. And so it could be a value disconnect there. And this is an opinion, wholly up an opinion, is if someone's questioning I'm too valuable to provide content for only $7, I would recommend a check-in. Is that also resistance? Are you buying into the bullshit storyline of how much you charge has anything to do with your value and your worthiness? So those are kind of two of the two membership pieces. So let me go back to the beginning. When you, whatever business you have, there are lots of different ways, I think, to create revenue. And one of the, I think, bigger challenges is to wrap our head around what could I possibly create even for content to have people opt in would be an example, or even use as part of a membership. So I have my screen up. I want to show you something that I created in a very, very short period of time. And I am not a graphic artist. So once, like this is what I have a graphic artist that I'll send this to and ask her to make it prettier, right? And just to maybe tweak it if it needs any tweaking at all, because it might not. And so this particular information is based on a show. So one of the shows. So I have a podcast that I do weekly. And this is going to be, it's coming up this week that I'm doing this. And so what I did was I took the description. So you can, you don't have to have a podcast to do this. You could take simply a social media post that you've done or something that you believe in. And you can use chat, or if you're great at coming up with headlines, to come up with a headline. And then you can simply take the content of the content. Now that sounds really silly, but take the content of the content and make it into a workbook or guide. So what I did was I have an introduction that chat helped me write, because I get in my head, and truthfully, I'm not the best writer. And I inserted a couple of photos. Now this is created through Canva, and I have the Canva Pro because it has access to more photos, but you don't need Canva Pro. And then I took the description of the content and I made modules out of it. So it's like the description is this. So here's like 3 points, I guess. Like I took 3 points from my content and made a module. So here's one of them is affirmations are essential, right? And then I just, talked about the simple things that I just talk about with affirmations, right? And then I gave create some affirmations here. So I gave the workbook an opportunity, which is why it's on white background, in case someone wants to print it out. And then the second step, no, I put module, you could put step, right? You could put process, you could put whatever. And wrote a little bit about that, which is what I would say, which is from my content. And then the third step, and asking questions. And then the next step, which is just an opportunity for people to reach out to me. Now, I'll insert the podcast episode here as a PDF. I'm not sure if it will, it's actually inserted right there. It might not work, so I'll have to actually put the podcast episode name of the episode and how to find it there. And then I just gave them simple, like way to find me, right? And it's written in, I think, 14 font, right? 15, it's not like an 18 font. If I wanted it longer, I could make the font bigger. I could have, like, there's just a lot. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to create a really, really simple way for people to get in touch with me. And use this then, use the template as often as I could, right? So I wouldn't necessarily, if I was talking about this in a social media post, I wouldn't necessarily, and I say necessarily because I could work with a social media post if things were tweaked about, want the guide to go along with my thoughts on the social media post, like something along that line. Here's the guide. Now, tech can often be a challenge. So what you can do is you can just simply stop share here. You can simply do a Google form. And then in the Google form, and for those of you who don't know how to do this, you can just message me. In the Google form, once they fill out the Google form with their name and their email address, I asked for a phone number. So I made the name mandatory. I made the email address mandatory. And the phone number I didn't make mandatory. I didn't make the field mandatory. Then the thank you comes up afterwards. And then that comes up. And then in there is the link to the workbook, which I left in Drive. And in Drive, I put anyone with link can have this. And so then people can access it. So I'm not even using my CRM, right? I'm not making it, I'm just making this as simple as possible for people to take advantage of the content that I'm already producing. And so I wanted to share this with you because I believe that there's so much content that you also could be utilizing to your advantage. Now, I don't know if you saw, but it was really simple things, and simple things I talk about. Affirmations are essential, and then why I think that affirmations are essential. I talked about creating harmony versus balance, right? So which I often talk about as well. And the third one was just some contemplative questions about harnessing divine energy and pursuing. And then the last page was just this simple explanation of this is contemplative questions, tip of the iceberg. So I didn't necessarily solve any problems, right? I might have solved some problems of how do you create an affirmation. I might have solved some problems of, oh, having people recognize that they're in pursuit energy versus creative energy. But it wasn't a how to, 50-page guide or ebook on resolving or solving all the problems. So I think what I want to share here is that there's an opportunity to leverage your knowledge in micro steps. Now, why I think this also could be an opportunity. You can create, so in a micro, so we'll go to a micro membership is a place where you charge $7 to like $9. It's less than $20. And then you support your ideal client by providing them content like this, right? And on a weekly basis. And I've seen some people use Facebook for this. The person that I follow suggests not using Facebook to build your own micro community. There's two reasons for that. One is Facebook is not your platform. So if they decide to shut you down, then you don't necessarily have access to all the people that were on there. Number one. Number two, it doesn't necessarily, people don't necessarily see what you're posting because of the algorithm. Now, in a micro membership, there's like I see lots of different ways, but starting out simply, you wouldn't even need to have a membership site if you didn't want to, if you were supporting them through email. Right? You could start it with a Facebook group and supporting the group by a weekly email, and then posting information in or content in Facebook on a regular basis. That to me felt really heavy, right? I mean, I'm already doing that in all my other membership, but what felt lighter for me was to just start by, if we're going to do a micro membership, to just simply start by having people join and then emailing them on a weekly basis. And then I could see myself going into, okay, I'm going to have somebody create a membership site. And there's lots of different apps out to do that. Like there's passion.io, I can't remember the names. I think there's 3 or 4 that I, could recommend. You wouldn't have to necessarily do a WordPress site, or if you have a WordPress site for your, you could add MemberPress, and then you have Facebook. And I have my website people do that. So for me, it would be, if I was doing a micro one, it would be I would step it, I would level it, like, right, so that this is the first phase, and then I would get the cash flow going, and then here's the second phase, and here's the third phase. So I wouldn't feel like, I wouldn't put pressure on myself to like have it all done in one. But I think a great way to start is just creating fun content, right? So finding now how I created that as templates. I went to Canva, so I have Canva Pro, and I went to templates, and I think I put workbook template, guide template, ebook template. I just searched those three different, I can't remember which one this is, and it gave me a template. Right. I don't have the patience to create that without a template. Right. So to me, it's just easier. Canva is doing a great job of providing templates. Why would I not take advantage of it? Right. And so yeah, so it's simple. And I wanted to show you the simplicity of it. So Karen, with your show, you could do it one or two ways. You can wait till after the show and then promote it afterwards. So this is the name of my show on Wednesday. And so I'll promote this during my show and leading up to the show on Facebook and Instagram, right? Here's the guy that goes with the show. So whether they go to listen to the show, it doesn't matter, right? But they'll have at least this information, right? But you can, for those of you who don't have a podcast, you can use it, like you can just take, like I said, a social media post and break it down into really simple, simple pieces, right? So that's so that's like the strategy. Tasha, you could do the same thing if you wanted to collect names. And well, actually, everyone here could do the same thing. If you want to collect names, right, to increase your database, to increase your exposure, so that you can increase your ability to create more relationship. That's really what this is all about. And I said I just wanted to show you a very low tech way, so that you don't need a CRM, like a customer relation management system. You don't need an email marketing system with this. If you have it and that's like fun for you, that's awesome. For me, in doing this, it's an experiment. And so I truthfully don't want to invest in paying my people. Right? I have a VA, and I have another tech person that would be happy to go in there and set up a whole email marketing program. And I don't want that this time, because I'm just playing. I'm experimenting. And so if it works, great, fantastic. If I can start to see how to expand this, then excellent. But if it was, right, the other way you could do this is just like, hey, everyone, I have this guide. This is what it looks like. You could take a couple of screenshots, DM me if you wanted, direct message me, and then people would direct message you. Then you could keep track and say, yeah, I could do that. What's your email address? So that's an even lower tech way of doing it. Collect their email addresses that way, put them in your wherever you would keep them, and then follow up. Then the key really is in the follow up, right? And so that's low tech. So added to that, could be some of the yeah buts that come up. And so there's the mindset piece. So if we go back to the premise of the thing, so air quoting, the thing that you desire, the capital Y, desire is also desiring you. So you're seeking something, it is also seeking you. And I wanted to distinguish between the small y-u and the capital Y-U, because more and more I'm being shown how when I've set intentions, it's been a small I that set the intention, or my goals, my ego I. When I tap into what divine wants for me, it feels it feels different, and it is different, right? And so it's learning how to tap into divine source energy and asking what divine would love to provide me. What are so it was really cool. Yesterday I realized it was like what I realized was I've been inconsistent in whether it's capital I or small I, creating my goals and my intentions. And when it's small I, they don't seem to come to fruition, or it takes way longer. It feels way harder, but mostly they don't come to fruition. But when I can tap into the capital I, right, the big I, uh, things unfold and almost feel like magic. And so it's really getting to know what that looks like. And for each one of you, that will be different. And so if you want to have a conversation about what that looks like, right, whether it's your small I or capital I setting your goals and intentions, let me know. We can absolutely have a conversation around that. Because every time if we go to set an intention and we don't, that doesn't come to fruition, there's the challenge, the obstacles are always created, right? And so we are always the cause. So not our fault, but our responsibility. So we are the cause of our environment all the time. So if we're not seeing the results that we desire, it really truly is, are you willing to move into a space and place where it's not your fault, it's your responsibility, and you're accountable for it, because the cause is you. The relationship you have with divine you, your ego, your id, your I, your false beliefs, your empowering beliefs, your attitudes, your behaviors, are you taking action, or are you in procrastination or self-sabotage? Like all of those things. So we are always the cause of the effect. So this is what the beautiful vision that I had yesterday was, if we tap into the capital I and it's divine that's creating the intentions and the goals, divine will show us the path. We just need to listen to the path, but divine will show us the path. We take action, so then we end up taking inspired action. And if it doesn't feel good, if there's like obstacles and challenges, we can simply ask, what am I resisting? Or, right? What am I not willing to see? What behaviors do I need to change? What attitude do I need to change? What else is possible? All the questions that we've been asking for a very, very long time, right? A great question to ask is, what is the cause of the result that I desire? So even as you're doing this, what is the cause of the result that I desire? So if we are the cause, then who do I need to be, right? What do I need to do? What attitude do I need to have? What behaviors will need to be put into effect? And then we can ask ourselves, what am I willing to change? Now, if change is an uncomfortable word, maybe it's transform. Hang on, I'm just going to take a sip of my coffee here. Well, cocoa. I still say coffee, even though I stopped drinking coffee about 2.5 months ago. So what am I willing to change, right? And so then you can do this every week. So if you decide to set a 90-day or 12-week goal, you can ask yourself every week, every day, right? It keeps you the I, right? And the capital I, not the small I, on the path. And so when we do that, when we're following inspired action, even if it feels like a challenge, like tough, right? Like it's something we're uncomfortable with, not that we're in resistance to or non-resonance to, but there's maybe even fear. Fear, can I do this? Fear of, I'm not sure I'm enough. Fear of value, worthiness, abandonment, rejection. But being in awareness of what emotion you're carrying. And then you can ask, how can I transmute this? Like, how can I? So I interchange the words change and transmute. Right? How can I how can this come up differently for me? Right. And often we have a repeated fear that keeps on coming up, right? So really important. And the last piece that I wanted to share with you was that this goes to Mel Robbins. I saw this yesterday, and it was so awesome. So she was, it was a reel I think she did, and she said, your social media is not for your family or your friends, your posts on social media. Your social media is not for your family and your friends. And it was hilarious. Your social media is for you to be creative, to share your passion, to share your purpose, right? To share your voice. It's not, she said, it's not even for your clients per se. But she was so, and I giggled because I think it was last week I said that if we used social media as a speaking stage, right, would that not change things? Right, where we know that we're not going to, like, when you're standing on stage, right, when you're speaking at a summit, you know that not everyone's going to resonate with your message. It's like, whatever, the right people will show up at the right time and hear the message they're meant to. And so when I saw this, I was just like, for me, it was like that affirmation from divine. Thank you so much. Right, excellent. We're on I'm on the right track. Yay! So for me, it was my proof. Right. So and I giggled when I saw it. And for me, though, it came at a very timely place because my mom is on, right? So my mom is 75, and my mom is on my social media feed. And she does tend to see, right? I think she marked me as one of her favorites. So she does tend to see the things. And I have sometimes altered what I've said uh, so that my mom would not take offense, right? And so because I don't want to hurt my mom's feelings, right? I don't want her to be, it would actually, this may sound kind of, it would be okay if she's offended, because that would be her pile of shit, right? That would be like and even if she was hurt, it would be, that's the same thing. But I don't want to hurt my mom. So I'm in awareness of when I'm not, when I'm not posting what I really want to post. And so it was a great thing for me to be reminded of personally, that because I could message my mom, I'm doing some posts today, you probably aren't going to like them. I could do that, or I could just allow my mom the opportunity to have her growth, her spiritual and personal development growth, if I trigger her, because there's gold there, right? My dad unfriended and unfollowed me years ago, right? Because he just doesn't understand. So he just, one day I went to tag him in something and I couldn't tag him. And I said, "Are you off Facebook?" He goes, "Oh no, I just unfriended you because I just couldn't handle what you were posting." I was like, "Okay, cool." My sister was there. My sister was like, "Dad," and I'm like, "It's okay. I don't need my dad. It would be okay if my mom unfriended me too. I mean, I didn't take it personal." Like, serenity is really important to my dad. And so I do not, what I say and who I am does not bring my dad peace. Right. And so I'm 100% okay with that. So that's the reason. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. I don't even know if my mom and dad know that I have a show. So I mean, I think probably my mom does because I post about it, but I don't think she understands. Like, I don't think she actually gets the concept of a podcast, truthfully. So, right. All good. All good. All right. Let me pause or stop.